just close to 6 p.m. on the East Coast, 3 o'clock out west on a Wednesday. You know what that means. It's time for a live edition of Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for joining us, spending part of your happy hour here on the channel today as we'll catch you up to speed on the latest happenings with your Seattle Seahawks as we'll be discussing today's news and rumors. Also, we have not one but two mailbags to get to today. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to be a part of those mailbag segments. And then later on, we will lay out the perfect plan for the Seahawks prior to training camp. There's still a few more things that need to be done before this team rolls into camp. We'll tell you what those are coming up later on in the show. As you guys are filing in and joining us here on the show today, shout out your state. Where are you living? And we will shout you out and where you are at on today's show. Would love to hear from you guys as you get the chat box rolling here as we get things started off here on this Wednesday afternoon. Tyler Jones alongside Big Tex with me today. We'll bring in Big Tex coming up in just a moment as we're coming at you from the Chat Sports Studios in beautiful downtown Dallas, Texas here on this Wednesday afternoon. Texer, whenever you're ready to put yourself on screen, we'll bring you in. I got Corey checking in from Jacksonville, Florida. I got a monorail section leader in Texas. Good place to be, section leader. I got Larry in Wisconsin. Thank you, Larry. Sir Lancelot in Longview, Washington. Also got Aaron in Stanwood, Washington as well. Welcome, guys. Glad you're here. As you continue to file on in, tell us where you are at, and we'll shout you guys out. Love to hear from you here on today's show as we get things started on this Wednesday. Got Scott checking in from Seattle, Washington. Scott, welcome. Good to be here with us today, Scott. Where else are you guys at? I got 30 people already in the chat box at this point. We'll see where else everybody is at this point. Big Tex here with us on this Wednesday. Texter, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. Just give me one moment. I'll throw myself on screen.
Did you have a good 4th of July?
Yeah, it was pretty solid. How was yours, Tyler?
Very well. Very well. I spent the weekend in Chicago.
Oh, nice.
Went to the first ever NASCAR street race out there.
Okay.
Incredible.
Oh, yeah?
Seeing not only just being in Chicago, NASCAR racing, but in the streets. It was phenomenal. First ever street race ever in NASCAR. That's how I spent my weekend. And then I was back here for the 4th of July. Enjoyed some fireworks with some friends last night. It was a good time. So
nice.
That's what I did over the weekend. Chaston checking in from Kingman, Arizona. I got Thomas Wright in Texas. I got I'm a 12 in Washington. Welcome, I'm a 12. Good work. Thanks for being here with us today. Tex, you're about to take off here in a couple days, right? Don't you have another trip coming up?
It's not really like a full trip. I decided to use my holiday for the 4th next week to go down with some buddies to float on the river in New Braunfels. So that'll be a good time.
Okay. Yeah. You love going on the river?
Yeah, it's a good time. I used to do a lot when I was in college in Austin, but that was a different river. That was more near San Marcos, near Texas State.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, same concept, just different place.
A little challenge out there. As you guys file in and join us today, here's a little pop quiz. How many Seahawks defensive players all time can you name? The only stipulation I will put on this is that they have to be a Seahawks player that's been on the active roster at some point in time. Let's see who can name the most. We will name you the MVP to start today's show, depending on who can get the most names in. As long as they've played defense for the Seahawks at some point in their career, how many defensive players can you name? And Tex,
yes.
I mean, you know how this works. We don't give any hints around here.
No hints.
So this is not a test for us. This is a test of the 12s out there.
Right.
But I got to say, with just going defense here, this number should be very high of how many players you can name.
For sure. No question.
So, Chaston Bear names Bobby Wagner. Well, that's one. That's a good start. How many more players can you name, Chaston Bear? What do we need Fant for? We'll tell you about that. Pro Football Focus actually has named the Seahawks as the best suitor for George Fant as a swing tackle, as a backup offensive tackle. We'll show you what PFF had to say more on that coming up later on to get to on today's show. Michael says, yes, Fant at a good price. I don't know his age.
Mike?
What?
Tell Michael I said what's up.
Oh, hey, Michael. Good to be here. Michael says, yes, Fant at a good price. I don't know his age, but factor it in. Tell him, let's go get a championship or a conference title in 2023. Okay. Good work, Michael. How many Seahawks defensive players can you name? All right, Chasten's got a few more in there. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So Chasten's got a starting 11. There's way more. We're talking just defensive players all time. Who can name more than 11 and beat Chasten Bear? And see who can name off the most defensive players in the chat today. Scott says, got some extra sun, Tyler. I did. This is a result of 2 straight weekends on the road from Nashville to Chicago. And, I think that's the ultimate test, Big Tex. You gotta be in the sun. You got to enjoy it. Even if you get a little sunburn, whatever it may be, it's worth it as far as I'm concerned.
Just wear sunscreen.
I don't even wear sunscreen.
Wow.
I'm not a sunscreen guy.
Okay.
If you wear sunscreen, no shaming you, but sunscreen's not my thing. I'll just deal with it.
That's fair.
Are you a sunscreen guy?
Yeah, it's weird. If I don't wear sunscreen, I burn. If I do wear sunscreen, I tan. And
Really?
It could be the same day, yeah. If I didn't wear sunscreen and went outside for the day, I'm getting burnt. But if I put on sunscreen, I tan, which is weird.
Ilona says, hi, Tyler. I made it to the show. You did,
What's up, Ilona?
Welcome. Glad to have you with us here today. How many defensive players from the Seahawks can you name? Chasten's the leader so far with 11. We'll circle back and see if somebody can name more than Chasten Bear, who named 11 different Seahawks defensive players all time. Ilona, Scott, Michael, surely you can beat the number by Chasten Bear. Oh, Chasten Bear's upped it. 1, 2, 3. So that's now up to 14. Who can name more than 14 Seahawks defensive players? We'll see what you can do. Summer Jones continues here on Seahawks Today as we enjoy the summer all summer long. I mentioned just got back from Chicago this weekend. Took a visit to Wrigley, watched Cubs, enjoyed the NASCAR street race out there. Had a great time in Chi-City. What did you do for the 4th of July? Text you, big firework guy?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of fireworks. I feel like once you see one firework, you've seen them all. But
yeah.
I definitely
By the way,
it.
I don't need to see all y'all's Instagram and Twitter posts of fireworks. They're all the same.
They are all the same.
We don't need to see it on your social media.
Agreed. Yeah, I like fireworks though. I think it's a cool spectacle, especially for people that see it the first time. It's definitely not as cool, I think, once you've seen it a bunch of times. But I don't mind them. I definitely enjoy it. If I had a dog though, I probably wouldn't bring a dog there because I see too many dogs come and they just freak out because it sounds like mortar fire or something going on. They just don't know what to do. But it's fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you light any fireworks this weekend?
No. I live in city limits, so I'm not trying to break the law or anything like that.
Laws are overrated.
Laws are overrated, right? Laws are for breaking, including shooting off fireworks off my apartment balcony, which I didn't do, but that would have been fun. I have shot off fireworks at my buddy's lake house because it's outside city limits. So he gave us $1,000, his dad, to go get a bunch of fireworks, and we shot them off. It was a good time.
I forgot to tell you, I kind of got in trouble with the law the other day.
Oh, yeah? Why?
It's not as exciting as it sounds, but I had to go run and grab my luggage at the airport.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy that was controlling traffic, I asked him, hey, can I put my hazards on, run and get my bag and come back? He said, yeah, no problem. And I came back, and there was a cop there and said, this is illegal in every airport in America. You can't do this. I'm writing you up. And so I got a $35 citation.
That's lame.
For leaving my car for 5 minutes.
Dang, that guy told you.
Let's see. Ilona was inside while the fireworks was booming a lot.
Yeah.
Ilona, you didn't light any of those fireworks? Come on now. Chasten, Bullware. Oh, referring to what we asked earlier. Michael says, shot off fireworks, drank beer, and ate out on the grill. That sounds like a nice night.
That's American.
I had Mexican food last night.
How dare you?
I know. I did enjoy some nice American beer, though.
You made it up.
I did. Let's get the chat going a little bit. I want the 12s to make their voices heard loud and clear. I want people to hear us, whether it's at Lumen Field or in Times Square in New York City. Take this chat as a way to represent the rest of the 12s out there and let our voice be heard. We're going to spam S in the chat. And if you love the Seahawks, if you're a diehard Seahawks fan, then I want you to get as many S's as you can in the chat for the next minute. And we're going to shout out everybody that spams S. So I'll go ahead and get this going, and then we'll officially start the timer. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Mitty, Ilona, keep it going. Pick up the pace. Chasten Bear, where are the other 12s at? Come on now. Faster, faster. Pick up the pace. Ilona, back in the chat. That I'm Moon Me, I don't know what that means, but sure. Ilona, who else? Russell. I got that am Moon Me again. Michael, Ilona, Russell, Moon. I'm just going to call you Moon. Ilona, Michael, Moon, Pedro, Michael, Moon, Ilona. 30 more seconds to go. Keep the S's going, everybody. Ilona, Michael, Moon. That Canto kid, Mitty. Thank you, Mitty. 10 seconds to go. Mitty, Ilona, Mitty, Pedro, Mitty, Ilona. All right. Good work, everybody, on getting that chat going and getting things popping a bit. We are at 11 likes right now. I need some more likes to get this show started. Text, we can at least get to 20. I need at least 9 more likes, and then we'll officially start today's show of what's on tap here on Seahawks Today. Appreciate everybody for getting those in. Bory Racing also in there. Mitty, just to name a few. Thanks for checking in and joining us. If you're ready to start today's show, go ahead and smash that like button. Moon, I think you are the winner of the chat rate challenge there of getting the most S's in. Good work there, Moon. Salute to you. And Ruthless and Ilona, thanks for showing some love. Hit that like button, and we'll officially get this show started. Need 5 more likes, and then we'll get this thing on this show on the road. Mitty says, did you know this is the last month without football until March 2024? That's a beautiful thing, my friend.
Very.
It'll be here before we know it. 2 more likes, and then we'll officially get started. I got 2 mailbags on the way today. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbags. And basically what happens is when you use the hashtag Seahawks, that makes things a lot easier for Big Text to go through your questions to be able to throw them on screen. And so whatever questions you have about your Seattle Seahawks, use that hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat, and we will get your questions answered coming up in our 2 mailbags today. Tex, we still need plenty of questions, right?
Oh, yeah.
We could use whatever you got. We'll answer them and see what you guys have on your minds today. Also, there we go. Good work, everybody. 20 likes so we can get the show started. We'll get to that here in just a second. Super Chat battle today. Haven't got our first Super Chat of the show yet, so let's see. Can we beat the Cowboys and 49ers reports today and win the NFC? Got to get to $55 today. Very doable. That can be done in 1 Super Chat. That's all it takes. So we'll see if we can get to that point today, if we can win the Super Chat challenge against our rivals, the 49ers and the Cowboys. Let's show the Super Chat menu, shall we? Here is what we are offering on the menu today of what the 12s will be getting today with what a Super Chat gets you. Any Super Chat gets you a shout-out. $5 will sing the DK song. $7 will take a Geno shot. Got some Fireball in hand or ready to go right here for you, folks. $10 will get Bean Boozled. Me or Tex, either one, will eat a random jelly bean and we have no idea if it's delicious or if it is terrifying, if it's just nasty. It is the great mystery of being boozled. You can see for yourself every $10 Super Chat. And then every $20 Super Chat, we play the word game where you get to pick a random word, and I have to find a way to sneak it in to one of our segments. Could be a word like octopus. Could be a word like fumble. I don't know. Whatever it may be, I have to find a way to work it into the segment with a $20 Super Chat. So that's what we're offering on the Super Chat menu today, and we'd love to hear from you guys and be a part of this show, help support us, and do what we do. We can't do this without you guys, and the Super Chats certainly go a long way. Coming up on today's show text, we got the latest news and rumors. We're talking about George Fant. Also, we'll be talking about Anthony Bradford and Boye Mafe coming up in our news and rumors segment. We have not one but two Q&A mailbags. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbags. And then we also have the perfect plan for the Seahawks of what they need to accomplish before training camp. We'll get to all of that and more coming up in just a matter of moments. Big Tex, we all set? We good to go? All right, let's rock and roll here on this Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for spending happy hour here on Seahawks Today. We'll get started without further ado. Begin things with our news and rumors segment here on this Wednesday afternoon on this live edition of Seahawks Today. Seahawks Today by Chat Sports is sponsored by HexClad. Get 10% off and use the promo code CHAT at checkout. We'll tell you more about HexClad coming up later on in today's show. We have the latest Seahawks news and rumors as we are going to be talking about the possibility of bringing George Fant back to Seattle. Also, we will examine the likelihood of Anthony Bradford earning a starting job at the right guard spot. And could this be a breakout campaign for Boye Mafe as he enters his second year with the Seattle Seahawks? We'll examine all of that and more coming up in a matter of moments. Before we do, folks, we are right on the verge of 38.5 thousand subscribers here on Seahawks Today, but we need your help to get there. Subscribe now for free for the latest happenings on your favorite team with daily news and rumor segments, live shows on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Also, here on Seahawks Today, we're going to be doing our watch parties again for each and every game day throughout the 2023 NFL season. So, come on in, stay a while. If they make a move, the Seahawks make a trade or signing, whatever it may be, we're going to bring you a video as fast as humanly possible here. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. Join the family. Let's get to 38.5K today. Where we will begin today is with George Fant. You may remember George Fant from when he was with Seattle the first go-round. And Pro Football Focus, they put out an entire list of suggestions for a move that every team should make before the season begins. For the Seahawks, their move was a little more low-key than some of the other teams, but could still be an important move of sorts, as PFF is suggesting that the Seahawks go sign offensive tackle George Fant prior to training camp. Here's more from Pro Football Focus. Seattle found both of its starting tackles in the 2022 NFL Draft with first-rounder Charles Cross and second-rounder Abraham Lucas, but the return of a familiar face in George Fant to serve as the swing tackle once again could solidify the unit. The vibes are high in Seattle, with linebacker Bobby Wagner making his way back to the team this offseason, so why not Fant as well if he can't land a starting gig elsewhere? Injuries derailed his 2022 campaign, but the seventh-year tackle earned a career-high 75.1 pass blocking grade in 2021, playing almost exclusively at left tackle. His 3.2 pressure rate allowed was the sixth lowest among tackles on the season. I don't hate this idea, and sure, his grades last year in 2022 weren't that great, but think about this. You're asking him to be a backup. You're not asking him to be a full-time starter here at this point in his career. I really am excited about what Cross and Lucas are going to do for many years to come as you have those tackles locked up for a very long time. But We saw Abraham Lucas got injured at one point last year. And you got to have somebody that you can trust, you can rely upon if something were to happen to one of those two, or if you just need to give them some rest, whatever it may be. And George Fant, I don't think it's a bad option. Relatively cheap. He's been in Seattle before. He's a decent football player. I have no problem at all with the idea of bringing George Fant in. To me, that makes sense. The numbers from George Fant, we mentioned not great last year in his 516 snaps with the New York Jets, an overall grade of 48.4, pass block grade of 46.7, run block grade of 56.3. I get all that. Don't get me wrong. But we've seen him do well in the past. With that said, here's the backstory on George Fant. Undrafted back in 2016. Started his career with Seattle from 2016 to 2019. Then went on to have 3 seasons with the New York Jets from 2020 to 2022. And you talk about experience, he has just that. With 83 career games played and 60 starts included as well. George Fant, I think, could potentially make a lot of sense for Seattle in this type of role as a backup tackle as far as I'm concerned. So your chance to weigh in, be the GM here on Seahawks Today. Should the Seahawks sign George Fant or not? What do you think? It's our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. Y for yes, in for no. What do you think? Should the Seahawks sign George Fant or not? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Y for yes, in for no. All right, guys, it's time to talk about your kitchen. And no, I'm not talking about your roommate's dishes in the sink. Today's sponsor, Hexclad, has revolutionized the cookware industry with a hybrid pan that gives you all the convenience and cleanup of nonstick, the versatility of your grandma's cast iron, and a lifetime warranty just in case you find a way to destroy them. Use promo code CHAT at hexclad.com/chat for 10% off. Hexclad truly checks every single box when it comes to picking your cookware. They are metal utensil safe, dishwasher safe, and oven safe up to 500 degrees. Don't just take my word for it. Celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay uses them at home too, saying, "The sear I can get with these pans is incredible, with absolutely no stick. The temperature control is utter perfection, and the cleanup is effortless. I love using Hexclad at home." Get this, folks. You will be amazed by this. They are the sexiest pans on the market. Look at that, as you can see on your screen right there. You can score points at home. It's time to stop ordering delivery food and start cooking like a big boy with Hexclad. Real cuisine isn't made in the microwave. It's cooked at Hexclad. For a limited time, get 10% off with our special link, hexclad.com/chat. That's 10% off at hexclad.com/chat with code CHAT at checkout. Tell them that Tyler Jones and Chat Sports sent you. You'll be glad you did. That's hexclad.com/chat with code CHAT at checkout. Anthony Bradford, the Seahawks selected in the 4th round of the 2023 NFL Draft out of LSU. And there's been growing speculation that Bradford could end up with a starting position when it's all said and done before the start of the 2023 season. He's got some competition, but could it happen? According to Corbin Smith of SI's All Seahawks, it very well could. Listen to this. Talking to line coach Andy Dickerson's teaching and rapidly improving, Bradford quickly gains ground on Phil Haynes after opening his first training camp with the second-team offense, eventually jumping his veteran counterpart on the depth chart for Seattle's preseason finale and joining fellow guard Damian Lewis as the latest LSU alum to win a starting job at guard on day one. And that is a best-case scenario situation there for Bradford. And think about this. Before you scoff at the idea and say there's no way a rookie 4th-round pick would start for the Seahawks day one, let me remind you, okay? We have seen time and time again, case in point Tariq Woolen and Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross just last year, that if you're good enough, it doesn't matter how young you are or where you got drafted, Pete Carroll and company have shown they're not afraid to play young players and give them playing time right away. And so I don't know if Anthony Bradford's going to win the starting job or not. I'm rooting for him. I would like to see him succeed and be successful and be a guy the Seahawks could depend on for a long time. But he's going to get the opportunity to prove himself. And he'll have the chance to start out there, depending on how things go. I could very well see him being this starting right guard, and the Seahawks go forward with him. He'll have that opportunity to do so. The competition for this spot, besides just Anthony Bradford, obviously Phil Haynes is the odds-on favorite to land this role. And then there's also Evan Brown. Think about this. Evan Brown and Olu are competing for that starting center position. But if the Seahawks feel comfortable with Olu being the starting center, then Evan Brown's got experience playing guard. He can compete for the guard spot. Whatever the role is, Evan Brown is going to get playing time in some way, shape, or form. But the Seahawks do have a few options, at least, when it comes to that right guard spot right now. More on Anthony Bradford. The Seahawks, we mentioned, selected him in the 4th round out of LSU. And his experience includes starts in 17 of 19 games with the LSU Tigers. Go Tigers. That included 12 games at right guard and 5 at right tackle. So he's got some versatility as far as that goes. Also was a part of the national championship team at LSU back in 2019. That was that historically good LSU team with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and company. He was right there on the front of things there for the LSU Tigers. According to PFF, listen to this. The numbers for Bradford of what he did this past season with the LSU Tigers in 815 snaps had an overall grade of about 65.1, pass block grade of 51.7, and a run block grade of 70.0. So while we talk about Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross, their strength being pass blocking, Anthony Bradford could be a nice mix of sorts of the fact that his strength comes from the run blocking end of things. So, who's going to be the starting right guard for the Seahawks? Will it be Anthony Bradford? Will it be Phil Haynes? Or will it be Evan Brown? Weigh in the comment section. Tell me who you think is going to be the starting right guard when the season begins. Type AB for Anthony Bradford, type PH for Phil Haynes, or type EB for Evan Brown. Let me know what you're thinking one way or the other in the comment section, who you think will be the starter for Seattle week 1 at the right guard position. Lastly, on today's show, let's talk about Boye Mafe. Last year, the Seahawks selected him in the 2nd round of the draft out of Minnesota. And USA Today did a piece detailing every team in the National Football League, all 32, who they believe will be the breakout player of the year for each team. For the Seahawks, they pointed to Boye Mafe as the guy being the breakout performer for Seattle this upcoming season. Tim Weaver of Seahawks Wire had this to say: we saw occasional flashes of potential brilliance from Mafe during his rookie year, especially during Seattle's first preseason game. Mafe has plenty of competition for playing time under clear number 1 outside linebacker Uchenna Nwosu, but he has the physical skill set to set himself apart from the herd. Mafe will have to push his way past both Darrell Taylor and rookie Derek Hall over the summer, but if he can manage that, he can just earn a long-term starting role for Pete Carroll's defense. I got to tell you, I'm very optimistic that Mafe can bring explosiveness with power, in that he can be a rush bully that this Seattle defense needs. We've seen flashes. I think we all point to, granted it was a preseason game, but that preseason game against the Pittsburgh Steelers when he just jumped off the film last year, okay? We've seen the bits and pieces. Now it's a matter of putting it all together. Last year, his grades from PFF, okay, included an overall grade of around 66. Run defense grade was close to 73. Tackle grade at 61. Pass rush grade at 54. I'm very, very intrigued about Boye Mafe to see what he could potentially do as far as that goes. So, what's your confidence level in Boye Mafe? Scale it for me in the comment section, 1 through 10, what your confidence level in him will be this upcoming season, if we're going to see him be that breakout player that USA Today thinks he will be. Hit me up on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there, and I'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then you can just put that in if we had to edit in or whatever. Rusty. Okay. Did you not hear what I said in the segment? Rusty's arguing with what I had to say. Rusty, did you not listen to a word I said at all? Let me make it myself very loud and clear. I said Evan Brown is primarily competing for the starting center job. But if he were to lose that, then he has a second opportunity to compete for the right guard spot. I said that very clearly in the video. I don't know why you have to be, making a big deal of this. This is not what I said. That's not what I said. You clearly weren't listening. Go back, check the tape. Okay? Simple as that. I don't know why, this needs to be a big deal, Rusty, but pay attention. Listen to what I had to say, for goodness sakes. With that said, use your ears. Should the Seahawks sign George Fant? What do you guys think? Matthew says yes. Let's see. Ilona says yes. What else? What do you guys think? Should the Seahawks sign George Fant or not? Weigh in the comments section and let me know if you guys think the Seahawks should sign George Fant. Moon says Rusty doesn't understand. I mean, literally, I made myself very clear when we explain the situation. It's not that difficult to comprehend. I said that very clearly when we opened up that segment. Rusty says I'm just a commenter on YouTube. Well, you're a hack is what you are, Rusty. Minty says no. Moon says no. I'm very curious. Mitty, Moon, why do you not want George Fant? I'm very curious why you might not want George Fant. Because I don't see any downside of him just being a backup tackle with the experience he brings and playing in Seattle previously. To me, I'm fine with that. Mailbag coming up. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag segment. Our first of two mailbags today. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag. Text needs some more questions, so we'd love to hear from you guys to see what you have for this first mailbag segment. Ilona says, Tyler, they probably don't know him. Ilona, I just went through, I see what you mean, Ilona, but I just went through and gave the history lesson and talked all about George Fant. Explained the background here in just a few moments ago. We've already been over this. Pablo says, sign George Fant. All right, Pablo. Whatever Pablo says goes. If Pablo wants George Fant, then George Fant needs to come to Seattle, as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. Moon says, like you said, as a backup, it makes sense. I need to see what we already have. I want to save money for the D-line finishing touches. Ben says, good hands and decent blocker. Okay, so some good takes there from the chat. I was getting a little annoyed with some of the stupidity I was seeing from Rusty and others that were not listening to what I was saying. But nonetheless, we move on. We have a good show ahead today. I don't have the patience for that today, Tex. If you're not listening to what we have to say and you're reacting without actually paying attention, I don't have time for that today. We're not putting up with that. Ilona says, I like your sunglasses. Ilona, thank you. I'm not wearing sunglasses right now, but I do like to wear shades from time to time. Mailbag coming up. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat. See, Pablo says, I want to send a big shout-out to Ilona. Yes, Ilona is very active in the chat, and we love hearing from all our 12s that are here with us, and you guys are great, and we always have a good time. Text still needing some more questions so we can do this first mailbag. Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag. Speaking of which, let's show the Super Chat menu while we're waiting on the questions to come in. We can get this thing started. Here is what we're offering in the Super Chat menu today. Who's going to be the first one to send said Super Chat? Any Super Chat gets you a shout-out on today's show. $5, we'll sing the DK song. $7, we'll do a Geno shot. Got the fireball in hand ready to go. $10, we'll get Bean Boozled, where we will eat a jelly bean that we have no idea what it is. $20, we'll do the word game, where you have to give me a word, and I have to find a way to work it into the segment, no matter what the word is, and find a way to make it related. $100 gets you a spot in the Boot Hall of Fame. We will induct you. Even Rusty even Rusty, who wasn't paying attention, wasn't listening to what I had to say, and was still off base in his comments, even you, Rusty, can make it on the Boot Hall of Fame. All is forgiven with Rusty if he wants to throw down a $100 super chat and make it on the Boot Hall of Fame today. So that's what we're offering. $100 gets you a spot. We'll induct you and everything and show you some love here on the Boot Hall of Fame coming up later on. So that's what we're offering. Let's see. Mitty says just give a shot to the rookies and let the other guards right now. After the huddle, got some stuff working on that very soon. Stay tuned. We'll keep you posted on that channel in the very near future. Thanks for that. But there's the Super Chat menu. Tex, where are we at right now? Need some more questions? Okay. I thought I saw several come in. Is it not pulling correctly? There was some really early. Ilona sent in one. I got Minty with one. Yeah, Ilona did. Minty sent in a couple questions. Pablo sent in. Pablo, the question you had, it's got to be the hashtag Seahawks. You had a dash in between, so probably is not reading. Norcog also sent in a question. Let's see. Yeah, there's several questions in there. Okay. Matthew just sent in one. Ilona's got some. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why the questions are pulling because there's several in there. Pablo, don't worry about it. If you just want to take your question again and put hashtag Seahawks, Pablo, we'll get that in the mailbag. Nothing to apologize for. It happens. It's all good. Thanks, Pablo, for being a part of the show today. Mailbag next, hashtag Seahawks or a super chat, and then we'll get things started here for this first mailbag today. Thanks, guys, for being here. All right, Ben with a super chat. Yeah, we'll throw it in the mailbag, but I'll go ahead and take a shot, too. First super chat of the day comes from Ben. Ben says, go Geno. Thank you for that, Ben. Much love to you. I will gladly take a shot. This one's for Geno Smith. We started these the day Geno signed his extension, and it has been a theme of Seahawks today ever since. These shots for Geno Smith, $7 Geno shots. Geno, we love Geno around here. We're a very pro-Geno show, despite what some people may say. I love Geno Smith and wish him the very best and hope he has a fantastic year in 2023. So cheers to Geno, cheers to Ben. Thank you, Ben, for that. All right. Whatever questions you guys have, hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat, we'll get this mailbag started. Need a few more questions. And if you guys think of something as we're going through the mailbag, feel free to follow up, and Tex can get your questions in with that hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat. Ben, we're going to begin the mailbag with you, with your $7 Super Chat. And we will start with you, and then we'll work our way from there the rest of the way. Pablo, there we go. Using the hashtag Seahawks. That's how it's done. Are you able to pull Pablo's that just came up? Okay. We'll check these technical difficulties, and then get started with this mailbag. Moon. Seahawks. Obviously, I'm here on Seahawks today. Yeah. Come on now. No place I'd rather be today than Seahawks today. Ben, thanks for that $7 Super Chat. Appreciate you joining us, man. So mailbag about to start next. Hashtag Seahawks Super Chat. If you think of questions while we're going, then feel free to go ahead and send them to us as we get this thing going. Tyler Jones, Big Tex here with you on this Wednesday afternoon. It's happy hour here on Seahawks Today. Hope you're having a fantastic day, middle of the week. Had a good 4th of July yesterday. Today being the 5th of July. We're here with us enjoying ourselves. Mitty with another one I see coming in. So I believe we're good to go now. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started with our first of 2 mailbag segments today. Tex, we good to go? All right, here we go. First of 2, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome in. Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we'll answer your mailbag questions. Comes from our live shows that we do on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, where you guys submit questions to us in real time, and we answer them when people use the hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat. We react to those questions in real time. It's a pretty cool deal. And you may be saying to yourself, man, I would love to be a part of a mailbag segment, but how do I do it? Well, you are in luck. If you subscribe to the channel, then you will know when we go live, and so you, too, can get your questions in and be a part of our mailbag segment. So subscribe now. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. Be a part of our mailbag segments. You'll be glad you did, and we would love to have you here on our next live mailbag. Let's start with our first one. A $7 Super Chat coming in from Ben. Says, go Geno. I agree. Go Geno. Despite what some of the haters and the losers may say, I very much am a fan of Geno Smith and loved what he did in 2022. And I can't wait to see what he does for an encore in 2023. Ideally, Ben, I think you would like to see Geno Smith build upon what he did this past season. And he obviously played at a Pro Bowl level, won Comeback Player of the Year. If he could take another step further, that'd be huge for this Seahawks team. They have the best quarterback in the division right now, relatively speaking. Now, with that said, let's say that he plays just the same or even takes a step back a little bit. You can even deal with that to an extent because the talent around Geno is going to be even better than it was a season ago. So, yes, go Geno, go Geno, go. Let's hope he has a big year. Matthew writes, hashtag Seahawks, outside of interior D-line, what's another position the Seahawks need depth? I'm thinking offensive guard, punt returner, kick returner, and strong safety. Let's break those down one by one. Offensive guard, yeah, they potentially could. They could use some help there. I think a lot of that depends on how much Anthony Bradford develops. We talked about it on the channel this week. There's a chance that he could be the starter for the Seahawks when the season begins at right guard. So depending on his development, could decide how much depth you need. Punt and kick returner, you can never have too many return specialists as far as I'm concerned. One problem, though, is that the league, with the rules, the way things are going, it is much harder and it's much more difficult for return men to have an impact on the game, especially in the kick return side, with just how soft we've gotten rules-wise when it comes to the kick returns. And I understand it's player safety and all that, but I think it's made the game a lot worse by taking that out of the game. So although I would like to see you have a few more pieces, you don't necessarily have to, sadly, just based on the way that the game's going. Strong safety, maybe so. More the merrier there. I think a lot of that also depends on, Jamal Adams' status of how quickly his recovery comes along and what that means, the trickle-down effect for the safety room as a whole of how many bodies they have available there. I would also, as I've been preaching a lot on this channel and will continue to reiterate, as far as what I would look to when you're looking at, what needs to be added and what needs help on the depth chart, the interior of the defensive line. As you mentioned at the top, I think that's a big deal for Seattle. So, yeah, you make good points there, Matthew. Supersonic fan, I would guess not in Oklahoma City, writes in, will Shelby Harris re-sign with the Seahawks anytime soon? Yes, I think Shelby Harris is coming back, at least at the time of this recording anyway. I think momentum is headed that direction, where although he won't be making as much money as he did previously, he doesn't really have better options than Seattle. And we know Pete Carroll likes him. He had a solid season this past year. Of all the issues that we talked about with the front seven for the Seahawks last year, Shelby Harris was not one of those. I would like to see Shelby Harris back. Another rotational piece, another body involved. To me, I think that'd go a long way. I'd like to see Shelby Harris back. Unless somebody comes in out of nowhere with a better offer, the Seahawks have every reason why they should bring back Shelby Harris because he's a talented player, makes the team better, would fill a need of some sorts, more bodies, more depth like we talked about, and he shouldn't cost you too much either. So, yes, I think it's going to happen. Put your GM hat on. Tell me what you think. Should the Seahawks bring back Shelby Harris? Y for yes, N for no. Weigh in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Should the Seahawks bring him back or not? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Pablo says, how many sacks will Bobby Wagner have this season? Great question. I don't want to put a specific number on how many sacks Bobby Wagner is going to get because I think that, quite frankly, his role, one of the things that I would like to see in this defense that he does so much better than Jordan Brooks is what he does in coverage as a coverage linebacker. Bobby is one of the best coverage linebackers in the league. So I don't need him so much to be blitzing and pressuring and getting too many sacks that much. At least that's what I'm thinking. I want him to go play coverage and, go defend some of those tight ends, go, bat some balls, go get those interceptions, do that thing. So I'm not concerned that we see Bobby Wagner getting the sack totals up as far as I'm concerned. To me, I want to see him play more coverage as far as that goes. Pablo with another follow-up question. How many sacks will Devin Bush have this season as a Seahawk? Let's go Seahawks. That is, I think, dependent on Jordan Brooks' health status. But I would expect Devin Bush to be more of a blitzer than Bobby Wagner in that sense. I think you're going to see Devin Bush play more of a pass rush role and try to go after the quarterback, and Bobby Wagner more focused on coverage. I think you're going to look at a couple different, at least a few sacks from Devin Bush as far as that goes. 12th man asks, what's the status of Jamal Adams' return? That's a great question. The last that we heard about Jamal Adams was that he was making progress, that he's headed the right direction as far as making his return goes. The Seahawks expect that he'll be able to go week one for the Seahawks and that he'll be a starter once again and everything will go back to normal. But obviously we need to see that happen first. And here's one thing I'll think. I'm no doctor, okay? But just simple math and numbers and schedule-wise. Think about this, okay? Jamal Adams, his injury occurred week one of last year, okay? Simply put, okay, that he should have, in theory anyway, plenty of time to get fully healthy and make that full return and do all that, as far as that goes. Will it happen? Obviously, that is a whole other story. It needs to actually come together. But time, I think, is on his side compared to some other guys, at least, coming back from injuries as far as that goes, based on the timing of his injury. So I think he should be back, but that remains to be seen. What's your confidence level in Jamal Adams this season? What do you think of Jamal Adams? What type of year is he going to have? Is he going to be available? Is he going to be able to stay healthy? Scale your confidence in Jamal Adams for me in the comment section 1 through 10, and let me know what you think. Last question in the inbox today. DK says, how will Geno Smith play in 2023? BK, thanks for the question there. Kind of like what we talked about off the top of the show. I'm excited. I think expectations should be high for Geno Smith. And think about this, okay? From the people I've spoken to and what we've read about Geno Smith is that this past offseason he has put in the work. Not only is he coming off a career season that was the best of his career, okay, but also on top of all that he looks the part. that he's working extremely hard, that he's doing the things that he needs to do this offseason, whether it's on the practice field, the weight room, whatever it may be. And to me, that's a good sign that Geno Smith is ready for an encore, that he's putting in the work to be a great quarterback in this league. So I think you're going to see a very similar year to what he had last year, if not even better, as far as I'm concerned, with Geno Smith in 2023. That's my expectation. We'll see if it becomes reality or not. Okay, 2 segments down, 2 to go, halfway through here on Seahawks Today. Next up, we will discuss the perfect plan for the Seahawks before training camp. But first, today is National Workaholics Day. Tex, I would say that you and I are both workaholics. We work our asses off. We put in a ton of hours to this job. We're workaholics. What do you do for work? I'm very curious. A little survey for the folks out there. What is your job, and what is your dream job? Tex, if you left Chat Sports tomorrow, and I said you could have your dream job, what would be your dream job, Tex?
Honestly, it'd either be probably being a film producer or director, or working in the esports market as a producer for them, making content for them. I still want to be like a content creator in general. So definitely something either in esports or film would be like most ideal to me. What about you? Back to news?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. No. I've worked in news. That was not the dream job. No. I'll be honest. Like working in sports, getting to commentate and share my opinions and be myself. I'm working my dream job. But I'll say this: if I wasn't doing what I do, the next dream of some sorts. People always wonder, what would you do if you weren't doing the job you would do?
Yeah.
There's 2 things that come to mind. When I was a kid growing up, I wanted to be either one of 2 things: either a sports broadcaster,
yep,
or a JAG officer in the Navy.
A JAG officer?
JAG officer.
What do they do?
It's the lawyers for the Naval Academy, for the
Okay.
Navy. That was like my secondary dream job growing up.
What makes that your dream job? You just like the Navy?
I loved the TV show JAG on CBS, so that inspired me.
I see.
Jim, I gotta mute you. You're lame. Sorry. You're going in timeout, Jim.
Brutal.
Let's see. What else? Jared says union sheet metal worker, local 24 dream job rancher. Very good for you, Jared. Ben says go Hawks. Michael says my dream job would be a pimp. Okay.
Alrighty.
I'll leave it up to that.
Fair,
Ilona says I don't have any jobs, but I love to help and clean. Let's see. What else? Ben says Bronco fan in the chat. Moon says I do welfare eligibility. I'd rather be a content creator as a fisherman. Wouldn't that be cool, creating content while you're fishing?
That would be sick.
Are you much of a fisher, Tex?
I've gone fishing. I wouldn't go as to say I'm a good
I
fisherman.
like to fish.
I like fishing. I've only caught small fish. Never caught anything big like a bass or anything like that. But
Matthew says
Definitely into it.
yard worker, dream job as president of the United States. Matthew, we might have to start saluting you, calling it El Presidente with that. Joshua, drive-through coffee stand owner. Very cool, Joshua. Joshua, if you got some coffee you brew, send it to the office. We'd love to try some coffee.
We are avid coffee
some.
drinkers here.
I am an avid coffee drinker. I have at least 2 cups a day.
Same.
Most days more. I love me some coffee, just some black coffee, black as hell. Don't need any creamer, no sugar, no milk or nothing. Just give me some black coffee. The other thing, I'll say this, Tex. If I wasn't working in sports as a content creator and everything, what I would probably do, I would love the idea of working for like a music label for like a country artist or something in Nashville, working behind the scenes doing that.
Hell yeah.
Nashville's like my second favorite city, besides
Really?
our city that we live in Dallas. I'd love to go there and visit and have a good time.
You
And
like
I love
Nashville?
country music. So that could be my thing if I wasn't doing what I do now. We just had Will Scott just left to go be a sports agent.
I know. Goodbye, Willie.
Maybe my next calling is go work in country music. Work
Country
at a
music,
record,
Tyler?
record label or something.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mitty is a barber. Very cool. Robert, I'm retired but would like to be a football coach. Hey, more power to you, Coach. Let's see. Jesse, insurance salesman. Dream job is MLB play-by-play. Okay, that's a good one too. Good answer.
That's a good one.
Wayne is a cybersecurity professional. Dream job is to be a professional pickleball player.
Wow.
Tex, pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the country.
Is it really?
It is.
I thought cricket was.
In America? No. It's pickleball. It's the fastest growing sport
I
in
like
America.
pickleball. It's pretty fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a good time.
I
I'm
like
not very good
pickleball
at
too.
it, but
I took a pickleball class in college.
really.
I got an A in the class.
Hey, there you go.
All right, time to lay out the perfect plan for the Seahawks. And Tex, I got to reply to a message here real quick. Remind the folks what's on the Super Chat menu.
Yep, I got you.
And then I also need that pan for HexClad.
Oh, it's right there behind you.
Oh, good work.
Yeah, I got you, bro.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
There it is, HexClad. We got our pans in hand here. This is sometimes me and Tex. If things don't go well, Tex, are you scared with me with me having this in hand?
I can't say I am.
What could go down?
I know you wouldn't smash me over the head with that, Tyler. Come on now.
I wouldn't.
You're too.
I wouldn't smash you either. That was too easy.
Super chat menu.
Let's see. Moon says Tyler wants to go on tour with Sports Illustrated swimsuit as a masseuse. Interesting. Okay. Super chat menu there. Tex, run through the super chat menu as I reply to this message here. What's
Yes,
what can people get today?
So any.
Put
super
yourself on screen.
Oh, okay. All right, I got you. Give me 1 sec here. Okay. So any super chat equals a shout out. A $5 super chat equals the DK song. $7 is a Geno shot. $10 we get Bean Boozled. It's basically either a really good tasting or really bad tasting bean that we get to eat, and you get to enjoy our reaction on that. And then $20 is the word game. And so, Tyler, remind me, a word game is you get to fit that word into one of the cuts in
one of the
some
segments.
way?
You get
One
to
of
pick the
segments?
word. Yes.
Well,
Could be octopus. Could be big Tex.
There you go.
Find a way to work it in the show. You get to pick the word. $20, and I got to work it in the show.
That one would be tough to get in there. Big Tex.
I could find a way.
You could find a way.
It could be done. Tex, let's go ahead and get to our next segment as we'll be talking about the perfect plan for the Seahawks in the offseason leading up to training camp here. What else they need to do. You know, Jim, I had to mute because Jim is lame. I haven't heard from Rusty ever since I called him out for his just inaccurate takes about what we were saying on this show. It just wasn't true. So, yeah. So we'll see who is going to take me on next. I have no chill today, Tex. I am willing to go after all parties involved. I put it this way. How do I describe this? Today, I'm not holding back one bit. So if you come after me, if you go for the bull, you're getting the horns today. Yes. That's a great movie. Yes. Yes. All right, here we go. Let's get started here with our next segment here on Seahawks Today. Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for joining us. Today's show is sponsored by HexClad. You can get 10% off with the promo code CHAT. We'll tell you more about HexClad coming up later on in the show. Today, I'm going to lay out the perfect plan for the Seattle Seahawks prior to training camp. There's still a few more things left that need to be done for this team before they fully go into camp. We'll tell you what those are coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do that, though, as the Seahawks get ready for the 2023 NFL season, let's get spicy in the comment section today, folks. Give me your hottest take on the Seahawks entering 2023. The hotter the take, the better, okay? Make it spicy for me. Tell me what your hottest take is for the Seahawks. Could be positive, could be negative. I don't care. Just give me a hot take that you have for the Seahawks entering this season and let me know. So here's how this is going to work. I have a 5-step plan for what the Seahawks still need to do prior to training camp, of how the perfect finish to the offseason should go for the Seahawks, of what they need to do and how this should all come together. So let's go ahead and get started right from the top. To me, it begins with re-signing Shelby Harris. I would love to see Shelby Harris back in a Seahawks uniform in 2023. And you look at Shelby Harris. This is a guy that I think when you look at the Seahawks last year and the problems that they had in the front seven, Shelby Harris was not one of those. And I know that the Seahawks have spent some money on that defense, and you wonder how much they have left to spend at this late in the ballgame. I don't think he could cost you that much. I would like to see Shelby Harris make a return and be a part of this team and have a role in this defense in some way, shape, or form, as far as I'm concerned. I think it would help out a lot if you had Shelby Harris around as far as that goes. Phil Golds, the SB Nation site that covers the Seahawks, had this to say about the idea of bringing Shelby Harris back. Seahawks had some notable issues on defense last season, of course. Harris was not one of them. Having released him, Shelby remains unsigned with a position group that could use the reinforcements. The Seahawks certainly could use him. The question remains, will they? Harris joined the Seahawks last year from the Russell Wilson trade. After the season, back on March 14th, he was released. That cleared some cap space to bring in the likes of Bobby Wagner and Draymond Jones and the others that the Seahawks brought in. And he ended up this past season in 2022 starting 14 of the 17 games, had 44 tackles, 2 sacks, and 4 pass breakups. Shelby was very solid for this Seahawks team and could make a difference as far as I'm concerned and not have a huge price tag as far as that goes. So I'd like to see Shelby Harris back. What about you, though? Prediction time. Do you think Shelby Harris is going to come back to the Seahawks in 2023? Let us know in the comment section. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Will Shelby Harris make a return or not? Tell me what you think. Y for yes, in for no, if Shelby Harris is coming back or not. All right, guys, it's time to talk about your kitchen. And no, I'm not talking about your roommate's dishes in the sink. Today's sponsor, Hexclad, has revolutionized the cookware industry with a hybrid pan that gives you all the convenience and cleanup of nonstick, the versatility of your grandma's cast iron, and a lifetime warranty just in case you find a way to destroy them. Use promo code CHAT at hexclad.com/chat for 10% off. Hexclad truly checks every single box when it comes to picking your cookware. They are metal utensil safe, dishwasher safe, and oven safe up to 500 degrees. Don't just take my word for it. Celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay uses them at home too, saying the sear I get with these pans is incredible with absolutely no stick. The temperature control is utter perfection, and the cleanup is effortless. I love using Hexclad at home. Check this out, folks. They are the sexiest pans on the market. Don't they look good? Look at that right there. Score points at home. It's time to stop ordering delivery food and start cooking like a big boy with Hexclad. Real cuisine isn't made in microwaves. It's cooked in a Hexclad. For a limited time, get 10% off with our special link. That's hexclad.com/chat. That's 10% off at hexclad.com/chat with promo code chat at checkout. Here's a look at the pans. I did not hit Big Tex in the head with these, contrary to popular belief. And why did I not do that? Because these look too nice. I would not want to damage this pan by hitting Big Tex with this. Even as much as I would like to sometimes, I will not. So why don't you get one of these nice-looking pans so you can make some fine foods and be looking stylish at the same time as well. Hexclad.com/chatsports for 10% off with the promo code chat at checkout for more. Number 2 on our list for the perfect plan for the offseason for your Seattle Seahawks is finding help on the interior of the defensive line. This is a message that I have been preaching on this channel for months. for months, I tell you. We thought it was going to happen on draft night with Jalen Carter. Didn't happen. They went with Devin Witherspoon. That was fine. But then it just never happened. And there are a couple options out there still. And for me, thinking about this, okay, Cameron Young, if he develops, that's great. But you still need depth. We don't know about Brian Monet's status. Here's a couple of guys. Quinnen Williams of the Jets. Price tag, though, awfully high. Assets and also what you'd have to give up, what you'd have to pay him as far as that goes. Grover Stewart, going to be a little bit cheaper. Doubted player, but not a bad idea for the Indianapolis Colts. Seems like the Colts are shopping him around. Then you go to the free agent market. Matt Ioannidis is intriguing to me. We've talked about him a few times on this channel. He's still sitting out there. I mean, he's not a Pro Bowl talent, but he's not a bad player either. Then Ndamukong Suh, I don't know how much he has left in the tank, but he is a future Hall of Famer with Pacific Northwest ties. And then Linval Joseph, who's had a nice career as well. He's available in free agency at this point in time. So we'll see if they grab up any one of those five. All of them, I think, would go a long way for the Seahawks team to get the help they're looking for there in the interior of the D-line. Number 3 on our perfect plan for the Seahawks as they go the rest of the way through this offseason into training camp. This one is kind of out of their control, but it would certainly help this team. If Tariq Woolen, Jordan Brooks, and Jamal Adams can all get healthy, okay? These 3 are pivotal pieces for this Seahawks defense as far as I'm concerned. Tariq Woolen, he had knee surgery. This was a couple months back. He's expected to return in time for camp. So unless there's a setback of some sorts or the recovery doesn't go as well, Tariq Woolen should be fine. Everything should be okay with him. So that's good. Now the other 2, though, Jordan Brooks, remember, got injured very late in the season last year. We've heard from Pete Carroll. We've heard from the coaching staff. They're optimistic about when he comes back, that he'll be able to play for the Seahawks this year and all of that. But the timetable still remains unknown as far as that goes. Jamal Adams, meanwhile, his injury, remember, that occurred week 1 of 2023, or 2022, rather. And you would think, in theory, time should be on his side for that recovery, but his timetable is still unknown for when his return will be. So you'd like to have those guys back, get them in camp, get them in workouts, be ready to go, and go from there. But we'll see how that plays out. You need all 3 of those guys. I would like to see them back. We'll see what happens as far as that goes. I want to know, a quick survey, what does Seattle need to accomplish before training camp? We've laid out a few things. I still got more to get to as far as that perfect plan goes. But what do you think it is? What do they need to accomplish before camp? Tell me in the comments section what you think the Seahawks need to do to shore things up before the season officially begins. Let me know in the comments section. Folks, we're talking about your Seattle Seahawks each and every day here on Seahawks Today with daily news and rumors, breaking news, mailbags, live shows, watch parties, and more. And if you subscribe, the best part about it is it doesn't cost you a thing. Absolutely, 100% positively free. Everyone's favorite price. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. If the Seahawks make a move, we're going to be the first to tell you about it here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now, and you'll be glad you did. Number 4 on this list is in relation to number 3, and that's finding help at the inside linebacker spot. Hear me out on this. We don't know when Jordan Brooks is coming back. And as the days go by, I think Imagine Dragons had a song called that. As the days go by and we don't know the status, then you have to start thinking about other options. And I know what you're thinking. Well, wait, isn't that what you got Bobby Wagner and Devin Bush for? Correct. But then you need backups. You need guys behind them, potentially. Or maybe you even start thinking a step further. Hey, Jordan Brooks, do you want him around long term? The Seahawks already declined his 5th-year option. Is he going to be the same player off the ACL injury? Maybe you start to think about guys that are potentially even better than Jordan Brooks. Whatever it may be, now you have to consider it at least. to get that inside linebacker help. Here's some notable names. Devin White of the Bucs. He requested a trade a while back from Tampa Bay. He's still there. He's a possibility. Patrick Queen of the Baltimore Ravens. Remember, very similar situation to Jordan Brooks. The Ravens declined his fifth-year option. He's played some really good football, but he hasn't played to his full potential at this point in time, and he wants to get paid. Then you go to the free agent route. Jalen Smith, I think, is better than Devin Bush, or at least just as good. I think he could come in and compete for playing time right away and be a nice piece, and at the very least have a backup equivalent of Devin Bush would be nice. Then you have some others. Jayon Brown is an option. He's a free agent. He should be pretty cheap. Zach Cunningham also available as well. So there's some notable inside linebacker options if the Seahawks decide to go that route as far as that goes. Last on this list of the perfect offseason plan for the Seahawks is they have to figure out what they're going to do with D. Eskridge, one way or the other. And, somebody once told me, in life, you either have to take a poop or get off the pot at some point, right? There's another word for that, but I'll keep it clean for the kids watching today. What are you going to do with D. Eskridge? Are you going to keep him? Are you going to trade him? Or are you going to cut him? I would like to see D. Eskridge stay around, personally speaking, because you've spent a second-round pick on him. You've invested too much to just give up on him already. I know that Jackson Smith-Njigga is going to be your number 3 receiver, but whether it's D. Eskridge playing the wide receiver spot what he was drafted for, maybe it's the kick return game. Heck, he's played corner before. Find a way to use D. Eskridge. I would like to give him one more shot and see if he can make something work. He's extremely versatile. You're looking at a guy that led all of college football in 2020 in all-purpose yards. But what does he have to show for it in his first 2 seasons in Seattle? A grand total of 17 catches for 122 yards. D. Eskridge has got to do more. The scouting report on him coming out, I go back to this. This is from Lance Erline. He can rise up and get the tall throws, but catching through contact is where he's likely to struggle. He has gadget potential in the quick game and is a potentially dangerous kick returner, but his biggest selling point might be as a field stretcher from the slot. So, can you find something? Can you throw him in somewhere? Just get him on the field and let him do his thing? We'll see what that role is. So, what would you do with D. Eskridge? Are you still in on D. Eskridge, or are you giving up on him? What should the Seahawks do? Should they keep him, or should they trade him? Let me know in the comment section. Type K for keep, type T for trade. What do you think in the comment section? Weigh in and let me know what you would do with D. Eskridge. So to recap before we go, our 5-step perfect plan for the Seahawks before training camp begins. Re-sign Shelby Harris, bring him back. Find some help on the interior of the D-line. Woolen, Brooks, Adams, guys get healthy, get on out there. Seahawks need you on the football field. Find some help at the inside linebacker spot, and that's where the Brooks thing comes into the fold as well. And then also figure out what are you going to do with D. Eskridge one way or the other. Before we go, football almost here. It's almost football time in Seattle. Predict the Seahawks record in 2023. What will it be? You tell me in the comment section and let me know. Hit me up on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live. That's where you can find me, and I'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. All right. 3 segments down, 1 to go. Predict the Seahawks record. What will it be in 2023? As a big Tex rejoins me right now. Tex, what's your prediction? What do you think the Seahawks record is going to be? Remember, they play 17 games now, not 16. Moon says 11-6.
I'm thinking around 11-6.
Put
I could
yourself
also
on screen.
see you what?
Put yourself on screen.
I got you.
As Tex gives his official prediction for the Seahawks this year.
I could see 10-7. I could see 11-6. I could honestly see 12-5. I know a lot of people think that Geno Smith's going to take a big step back, but you could also counter-argue that with the fact that he's with the same team. He's with Pete
Right.
Carroll. He just got an upgrade at the wide receiver position. The defense got an upgrade with the return of Bobby Wagner. I mean, I think this team has a floor of going 10-7 and a ceiling of like 13-4, 12-5.
Here's what I look at, Tex. Think about this. That schedule's not easy.
No.
And so I think when you look at that schedule, you have to have respect for the opponents, right? And so that's why I think if you're Seattle and you go 11-6, you should be thrilled because of the gauntlet you're going through, how tough that is.
Yeah.
And respect your opponent, I think 11-6, you should be overjoyed. I think that should be the goal. That should be the mark. 11-6. It's realistic, and you should be happy if that's what they do. Moon says 11-6. Ilona says 12-5. Eric says 12-5. Matthew says 12-5. Alex says 11-6. Matthew says at least 10 wins. Daryl says 12-5, and Matthew says they are going to take the division. So those are the predictions there on that front. So with that, we will go ahead and get to our final segment, our last mailbag. We need some more questions.
Yes, let's get some questions.
Hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag that will start in just a few moments. And I see Mike, Ilona, Matthew, Alex, whatever questions you guys got, I want to hear them as we do this mailbag segment. Send me your questions, and we'll react to them coming up in just a few minutes. Let's go like 8 to 10 minutes.
8 to 10?
Yeah.
I got you.
Eric, others, get those questions in. Get on this mailbag. Here's your chance to have your picture seen, your voice be heard, and be with us here on Seahawks Today. Alex, Ilona, others, get on this mailbag. Be a part of what we're doing. And if you think of something as we're going throughout the mailbag, go ahead and send it in, and we'll follow up with those questions, whatever you guys have. Mailbag segment next here on Seahawks Today. And you may be wondering, why should I super chat as opposed to using hashtag Seahawks? Well, if you super chat, you will get to the front of the line, and also you can buy one of the things that we're offering today on our screen that we'll show you here in just a second on the super chat menu.
Yep.
The super chats, I got to tell you, when the super chats are rolling, we know how to party and have a good time. We're always just one super chat away from having a party here on the channel. Any super chat equals a shout out. $5 will sing the DK song. $7 will do a Geno shot. $10 will get Bean Boozled. $20 will play the word game. I've yet to be Bean Boozled today. We haven't sang the DK song yet either. What's going to happen first? Am I getting Bean Boozled, or are we doing the DK shot? I'm very curious what you guys have. Send in a super chat, and we can party and have a good time. Eric, I see your question. Use the hashtag Seahawks or super chat to get that question on the show. I can't put it on screen unless you use the hashtag Seahawks or super chat. That's how Tex organizes all the graphics and get things on screen. Hashtag Seahawks. Tex, yes? Oh, Tex has got something worked up here. Here we go, folks. Let him cook. Tex is trying to cook. He's cooking in the sports kitchen. Reminder, while we're waiting, before we begin this mailbag segment here. There we go. Eric, use hashtag Seahawks. Good work. While we're waiting, want to make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Scott says, good show, Tyler. Thanks. Scott, thanks for being here, man. You're a real one. If you haven't already, subscribe to Seahawks Today as we bring you daily content here on the channel for free. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. Super chat menu, that's what we're offering. Tex needs some more questions, and then we'll get started with this final mailbag segment today. Did you say something, Tex? Okay. There we go. And Matthew telling people how to use the hashtag. I like it. Ilona says, Tyler always keeps smiling. I love it. Tex, how about this? She said for me to keep smiling. How about this text? Mugging. I can be pissed off. People got to see me in a little chippery today. But I like to be positive and have a good time here too. All right, we're good to go. Let's get started with this final mailbag segment. If you got questions, even if you got a question for Big Tex, let Tex know in the comment, and we'll get it on. Let's go ahead and get going. Without further ado, our final segment, mailbag time here on Seahawks Today. Time for a award-winning mailbag segment here on Seahawks Today as we answer your questions that you bring us on our live shows that we do on Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. People use the hashtag Seahawks. They super chat. We answer their questions in real time. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That way you can be a part of our mailbags. And the bosses told me they don't think we can get 50 subs off today's video. I think we can prove them wrong. Let's show it to the bosses that we can get 50 subs off today's video, that we can keep on growing this channel, that you guys can be a part of our live shows, and that we can have a party here on Seahawks Today each and every day. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Daily news and rumors for free. Mailbags, live shows, watch parties, and more. Let's get 50 subs off today's video. I believe we can do it. Yes, we can. First question comes from Matthew. What are your top 5 favorite teams in the NFL? For me, it's the Seahawks, the Vikings, Bengals, Bills, Steelers, and Tom Brady. Hey, you know what? The right question, I'll phrase it this way. I think you mean who the favorite teams you cheer for. And so it's only Seahawks is the only correct answer here on this channel. It's Seahawks, and then it doesn't matter who the other 4 are. Then I think the number one job as a Seahawks fan is to be a Seahawks fan, one, and then to boo and hate the Niners, Cardinals, and Rams. That your next favorite teams are who those teams are playing against, and whoever plays against the Cowboys, because it's always a good day when the Cowboys lose. Okay, now who are the teams that I think are the best in the NFL this year? The next 5, if I were to answer the other part of that question. I think the Chiefs and Bills are the top 2 teams in the league this year. Chiefs 1, Bills 2. I think the Bengals are up there. The Eagles, and then Niners, Seahawks are along that edge there. I think that's your top 5 or 6 teams in the league as far as that goes. Mike Bang! Bang! All right, so what draft pick do you think will be the biggest surprise this year? Guy we talked about on the channel this week, and he's making some noise, and I think that he's going to have a bigger role than what some people may realize. He could start right away, actually. His 4th-round selection, Anthony Bradford, out of LSU. And history tells us that Pete Carroll and company is not afraid to play young players early on in their careers. So, what about that possibility? Anthony Bradford, we know the Seahawks have a need at right guard. Anthony Bradford might be the guy that makes sense for the Seahawks potentially, and he could really surprise some folks. And think about this, okay? Charles Cross, Abraham Lucas, who were your starting right tackles last year, obviously coming back. Their strengths are pass blocking. Anthony Bradford, his strength is run blocking. So then you start to mix things up a bit. That, I think, could be a nice balance between the two. So, Mike, there's your answer there. I think that Anthony Bradford is the guy I'm watching for. Hi, Brian Bosworth. The Boz. I love the Boz. Boomer. That one's for Big Tex. Brian Bosworth writes in, hashtag Seahawks. I know we are loaded at wide receiver, but D-Hop is still available. Is there any chance we sign them? Well, the Boz, welcome. Glad you are in the chat. Boz, I love the Boz. How many of you guys seen the ESPN 30 for 30, Brian and the Boz? Seahawks legend, Brian Bosworth. Anyways, as far as signing D-Hop, highly unlikely, Boz. As you mentioned, they're loaded. The Seahawks are stacked at receiver. DeAndre Hopkins is going to cost too much money than what the Seahawks would pay him. And it's just quite frankly not a need. I think wherever D-Hop goes, he's going to want to be a number 1 or number 2 receiver. And the Seahawks have their top 3 receiver lineup set for the next few years as far as that goes. So there's just not a spot for D-Hop. It's not happening. But Boz, good to have you here. Bower, should the Seahawks sign DeAndre Hopkins? That's our pin comment today. Might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. Y for yes, in for no. Should the Seahawks sign DeAndre Hopkins or not? Let me know in the comment section. Y for yes, in for no. Mark writes, who has more yards, DK or JSN? I think DK will. DK is going to be on the outside. He knows the scheme already. He's familiar with Geno Smith already. DK, I think, we've seen in his first few seasons in the league, every year has been either right below or just past 1,000 yards receiving. His numbers have been pretty similar almost every year he's been in the National Football League. I think that this should be the year that DK takes that next step up, that he becomes one of the elite receivers, one of the best in the league. That should be the expectation. He takes that next step. I think DK can get more yards than JSN. Mike Bang says, would you rather be tackled by a prime Cam Chancellor or ran over by a prime Marshawn Lynch? Mike, can I select neither? Those sound awful, both those circumstances. Here's how I'm going to answer this, okay? Hear me out, Mike. Here's what I would do in this scenario that you've painted here. I am going to take some type of cushion of some sorts. And Cam Chancellor, I'll take the tackle, assuming I can fall back on the cushion of some sorts. If I get ran over, boom, by Marshawn Lynch, like I'm not getting up, I'm down, like I'm falling on the ground, right? I'm gonna take in this scenario, getting run over, getting tackled by Cam Chancellor, soft landing, and maybe I'm okay. You're the man. No, you're the man. I think this is Wayne/George Santos checking in. Can the Seahawks beat the 49ers in 2023? Yes. Yes, they can. The 49ers don't know what their quarterback is going to be, although the 49ers are a very solid team, and they got a lot put together on this 49ers team. I think the Seahawks very well could beat this 49ers team with a better quarterback, loaded at the receiver spot, loaded at the running back position. It all comes down to how much can you stop the run, because Christian McCaffrey ran all over this Seahawks team not once but twice last year. How much can you slow him down? That is the $1 million question. Cheeto Man. What's the best type of Cheeto? My answer would have to be the crunchy. Crunchy, then puffs. Not a huge fan of the Flamin' Hot myself. How deep in the NFC playoffs will Seattle get in 2023? As the roster is assembled right now, I think you're looking at a team that could get to the divisional round. If they get the help we've been talking about for months on end for the interior of the defensive line, then maybe at that point you're talking about them getting to the conference title game or maybe even the Super Bowl at that point. But as the roster is assembled at this moment, I think their ceiling is probably the divisional round. Beast Mode writes in, I'm not sold on Jordan Brooks. What about trading for Devin White? So this is an interesting thing you bring up here, Beast Mode. Jordan Brooks, the Seahawks did not give the fifth-year option to. He's coming off the ACL injury. And then if you want to take it a step further, the nerds at Pro Football Focus have never liked Jordan Brooks. Despite, what was it, a year or two ago, he was second in the league in tackles and all that, the tackling machine he's been. The nerds and those analytic nut jobs, for whatever reason, have never liked Jordan Brooks. So I'll say this. I would like to see how Jordan Brooks is coming off injury before moving on from him or whatever it may be. I think you need to see if he looks okay, if he recovers fine. If I'm trading for Devin White, I'm not giving up on Jordan Brooks right away. Because what you could happen is this might just be a one-year stint with Bobby Wagner. He's only got 1 year left in the contract. Maybe it's a situation where you bring in Devin White, and then next year you start Jordan Brooks and Devin White side by side potentially. I mean, all is up in the air at this point. So let me say this: I like Brooks, I like Bobby Wagner, all those guys there, but let's not bring in one guy and just give up on Jordan Brooks quite yet. Let's see how he recovers from injury. Should the Seahawks trade for Devin White? Weigh in the comment section. T for trade, P for pass. Tell me what you think. T for trade, P for pass. In the comment section, what the Seahawks should do. Last question here from Mike Bang. Mike wants to know, is it Pete's last year if we miss the playoffs? I don't think so. It would. I'll say that it's going to be very tough for Seattle to miss the playoffs because the NFC is weak and we have more teams that go to the postseason than ever before. So I don't think the Seahawks are going to be missing the playoffs. So I think Pete's still going to coach at least a few more seasons. I don't think he's going anywhere yet. We'll see ultimately how it plays out, but I think Pete Carroll is going to be back around Seattle as far as I'm concerned. All right. So there you have it. Scott was asking, how does he super chat? $sign below the chat box is how you can send in a super chat there. Should the Seahawks trade for Devin White? What's the chat saying? Eric says yes. What else do you guys think? Weigh in the comment section. Let me know. Mike says, which Seahawks jersey should my girlfriend Erica get? She's a new fan. I think you can't go wrong with a Bobby Wagner jersey because he's already had a great career with the Seahawks. I like DK. I think that Metcalf 14 looks pretty fire. Yeah, there's a lot of different options that you could go with there. Should the Seahawks trade for Devin White? Elona says yes. Okay, very nice. Let's make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I'll put the sub link in the chat, and then we will sign off and call it a day. Tex and I are going to go home. Stay tuned to the channel all week long as we got you covered here with daily Seahawks coverage. Appreciate you guys joining us, spending part of your Wednesday, your happy hour here, and we'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night, everybody.